You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tonya Mazurek.
Welcome to SBA Today, presented by Res Title, your SBA title experts for the week of September 8th. I am Paul.
And I'm Tonya, and today we've got a very special guest on. So stay tuned because we're gonna bring that guest on at the end of the show. But first, let's get into the news.
Yes, we have late breaking news that you've only maybe heard it in your email, but you're going to hear it now on SBA Today. Ginger Allen has a new position with Nagel. That came out this morning. She is the SVP of Policy and Relationships at Nagel, and I am excited to have her stay within the SBA world because of all of her years of knowledge. I'm very excited to hear that, and that is late breaking news right off the SBA wire because we have a special SBA wire.
Awesome. And Ginger, we want you to come on the show. Just so you know, that would be so
good.
Amazing.
That would be good.
Two paths. Did you see her her post whenever she left, right? And she had the thing about the two paths, and you know how I am about two paths.
It sounded like something you would say.
It totally sounded like me. I was like, dude. Yeah. Anyway, the two paths. So obviously she took maybe the one less traveled, but the one that's going to be pretty amazing for the rest of us. Anyway, Paul, moving on. I do love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's that this morning. And then, of course, this week came out the new MARC loan. So that is coming out. There's training this Friday by the SBA on this. I'm very excited to see what that is. Again, it's a working capital, either term loan or line. Only for manufacturers. There's still some questions that are lingering out there, and hopefully we get those answered on Friday. But you know, I can tell you a little bit more about that as things go on here. But please make sure to do the training on Friday, and make sure your organization's a part of it, because it is a great way to build in new business. Because what institution out there does not want a manufacturer as a client? Right?
Or, so, one of my new deals,
Right, of course. Now, the MARC, I thought that was interesting how they were naming that. So, Tonya, what do you think MARC stands for?
Well,
is it a guy you went on a date last week with? Or is it...
Ooh, no. You're such a butthead. Anyway, no, but I did, me being me, I did come up with some of my own acronyms of what it could stand for. So I think MARC should be, there's three. You guys out there, tell us which one you like best out of the three I come up with, right? So manufacturers are ready for capital. Yes, you are.
I like that one so far, yes.
Okay. Yep. 2, maximizing access, reducing challenges. Now, wouldn't that be nice too? I don't know. We could use them both. And third, because, it's me being me, making a real connection. Now, all three of those could work. I'm just saying.
It could. I think my favorite is manufacturers are ready for capital. Yeah. That's money.
Yeah. Well, I had to do a little bit that was a little business, a little personal, a little in between. So that's what that goes. So
sure.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's still a lot more information coming out about it. But I mean, the bottom line is it's only for working capital. It is not for business acquisitions. It is not for refinancing debt. And there's some other nuances. So we'll talk more about that on a future episode. But attend the training on the SBA.gov training website. But now let's get into some real fun here, Tonya.
Let's do. So we have got, and you can go ahead and bring her up here. We have got the awesome, the amazing Christa Hansen of Hansen Monitoring. She's from Hansen Monitoring Team. She's been in the industry. I'm going to go ahead and give the intro here. She's been in the industry since 1999, where she started in a family-owned construction consulting firm. Their main goal was assisting clients in locating potential construction risks ahead of time. Isn't that a good idea? She left that company to form her own Hansen Monitoring Team, LLC, in November 2021. She has created the foundation of her company's services to prevent problems before they occur. She encourages this with open communication, shared responsibility within the entire project team, the borrower, the contractor, the lender, and her office. Okay, whoo, there's all this. She knows SBA projects, in fact, all projects, are all unique and feels fostering a collaborative team thwarts potential risks by identifying and addressing those risks early and efficiently. The HMT team has experience with all sizes of projects, sizes, budgets, scopes, and locations, and they pull from their collective experiences to work outside the box and to help solve problems. Now, Christa, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is great. Never done anything like this before. I'm very excited. This is great.
Yeah, but you've done so many other things. So just so you guys all out there know, I have known Christa through the gamut of all of this, from when she was way back with her family's team, as well as when she created the new. And I've worked with her through all of this. And I got to say, just from my own perspective and all of my borrowers that have worked with her, she is flipping amazing. So anyway, there you go.
Thank you.
I think you used a different F word before we jumped on of how amazing she was.
Well, that's just because she's known me.
Look at me.
Okay,
I'm in
got it.
flowers,
Okay.
Paul. I am.
Oh,
I would
sorry.
never say a different word. Did I use flamingo? Anyway.
Yes.
Flamingo. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what we wanted to bring Christa on for today is just talk a little bit about construction and some of the risks that have to do with construction and what you're seeing out there, that type thing. So I'm just going to jump into it, Christa, and ask you one of our first questions here.
Okay.
So you can help us out and tell some of our borrowers out there what to look for. What can banks do at the onset of the construction loan prior to closing to help minimize risk?
Well, there's lots of things you can do. Something I hear often is making sure that the borrowers and the contractors are aware of what documentation they're going to need to provide. But from the bank's standpoint, that just kind of helps smooth things along, that kind of thing. But from the bank's perspective, we want to make sure that the owner's injection has been dealt with and finalized, whether that be making sure the support is, satisfies the injection requirements, or that those funds are collected at closing to make sure that they're there in escrow, so we can help keep track of, okay, what money's coming out of escrow, what money's coming out of the loan, and kind of track it that way. Also making sure that you have your documents in place, have construction contracts, have, very important, is permits and permit set of plans in place, referenced in the contract, in place before you close that loan. Because otherwise, we all know, we've all heard the two nasty words, change orders. Change orders will come. And unfortunately, that's when things can go very sideways. Now, just because you have plans and permits, before the loan closes, that doesn't mean they can't come up, because we all know that the governing bodies are happy to come in and be like, I think we need a fire hydrant half a mile down. You're like, what? Shit.
Oh, and I know you and we had a few of those loans that we dealt with, both with sidewalks, with landscaping, where they couldn't put in their landscaping, Paul, until spring, right? And so what was it? We had to get like a bond. I mean, it was, and it just created an issue with final funding. And I mean, just so many things that can come out of the woodworks when it comes to construction.
Absolutely. And that research at the onset by the borrower, because it's the borrower's responsibility. It's not the bank's responsibility to go and make sure that you have what you need for the city. But that early onset research by the borrowers and the GC, a lot of time they work in tandem to make sure, oh my gosh, I'm in Colorado. It snows here. Hello. You can't plant grass, when it's going to be snowing. So you're going to have to know, hey, we're going to have to get a bond. We're going to have to do it in the springtime and account for that, not only in the loan duration, but the documents you need to get from the city and all those kinds of things. So going through that, doing that legwork at the beginning is very important, I think.
Right. And I think so many don't, probably. And I think that was one thing that I recognized with you, is that oftentimes, literally, you caught things that maybe I should have probably early on or looked at a little bit more when it came to sources and uses and stuff like that. So let's talk about the sources and uses and how that needs to line up.
a very important thing that I've talked a lot with my clients about is getting companies like mine or me, whatever, engaged early on, simply because I see projects that have been in the works with the bank for years, sometimes multiple years, while they're trying to find their locations and all these kind of things. I get brought in, I look at the contract. Okay, that says $1.5 million. I look at the sources and uses and it says 500. I'm like, we're short. So what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
And moreover, this in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, who thought it would cost 500,000? But that's another story. But going through that sources and uses, looking at not only the hard cost of the construction, how the injection plays into it, but the things, as Tonya well knows, I like to say, when you look at the construction contract, it's not what's included that's really important. Yes, it's important, but what's excluded is what's important. What about signs? Is the permitted included? Permitting, those kinds of things. And you have to go through and figure out what buckets of the sources and uses do those play. And some of our clients, we track the disbursements along with them, saying, okay, this is your initial sources and uses. This time you're using this much out of this bucket, this much out of this bucket, so that they know as they go where the reallocation of fund needs to happen in order to get the new approvals through the SBA. Once we're all said and done, track it as you go. It's so much easier than trying to deal with it at the end. Track it as you go. So knowing where all of those things lie and that the sources of use and uses is sufficient is key. I just had a project recently that they've been working on it for almost a year. I come in, I'm like, you don't have enough money in your sources and uses, including the borrower's injection.
Right.
Everybody wasted a year. Yep. Yep. So it doesn't go well in those situations. So sources and uses is key, and then making sure it's consistent as you go and you track it and reallocate as you need to.
Don't worry about the doggy, man. We have things like, that's part of being live. It's like the fun part.
That's right.
So it's all good.
It is
right?
what it is.
And you like dogs, so I already
dogs.
like you even more. Anyway, talk to some of our borrowers out there, right? The borrowers, because borrowers tend to not recognize why it's such a good idea to have a monitoring company up front, right? And what I have found is oftentimes borrowers are like, well, why does it cost so much? Or why does it do this? Or I can just do it myself. Or I could be my own. Yeah, no, you can't. What are some of the fine print that you find? And I know you did it with a lot of the contracts that I sent you in advance to look over prior to even moving forward, right? Tell us why a fixed price is a good idea. Tell us some of the traps that borrowers can get into that they don't even recognize they're getting into.
Well, from the borrower's perspective, aside from making sure you have a good idea, a business plan, those kinds of things, make sure you know what you're getting into. So that construction contract is key. It is key. And spending, there's a lot of headache, and I get so often, we just want to close. We just want to close. We just want to close. And I completely appreciate that. But if you don't do the legwork on the contract to begin with, you can run into a lot of problems along the way. So there's a lot of different kinds of contracts out there. Lump sum, cost plus, guaranteed maximum price. Now, what we tell the borrowers, you want to make sure that your project development, as far as the plans and whatnot, is far enough along that your contractor knows what it is that they're building, right? If you haven't been through permits or even or gotten your permits or even been through the city yet, they don't know what they're building. So you can't blame the general contractors because they don't necessarily know, right? But if you're far enough along in the process, the GC should darn well know what it is that they're building, right? So when you get the lump sum contract, it says, I am going to build this for this amount, right? Whether or not they are able to buy it down through their subs and get it cheaper, doesn't matter. You guys agreed this is a fine price, fine. A cost plus guaranteed maximum price. Oftentimes we see when maybe the plans aren't all the way finished, or there's a lot of finishes that need to be decided, especially with new restaurants or medical facilities where they're like, I don't know what I'm going to want. Where do I want eggshell white or do I want cottage white? I don't know. Do I want to upgrade the countertops? I don't know.
So many whites.
Right? But the guaranteed maximum price not only gives you a maximum of what it could cost, this is what it will cost based on the scope that we know. Of course, change orders can always change that dollar amount. or scope, but you as the bank know, hey, this is what we're lending on. This is our cap, right? We feel comfortable that this is what it's going to be, sometimes less. And the borrowers can work with the general contractor and say, hey, I know we have a guaranteed maximum price of $500,000 to build this project, but if it comes in less and maybe you buy it down, let's do a split incentive savings. So let's say you do the GMAX for $500,000. It costs them actually $450,000. All right, we'll split the $50,000 savings 60-40 with you, or 50-50. So it's incentive to the general contractor to get the cost down, right? The borrower's cost really doesn't increase. The bank's happy because their numbers aren't going up, so it allows some flexibility for all parties. Cost plus, any loan, don't do it. Don't do it, because the cost, sky's the limit. The bank can't have it because you have to have a cap. So if we don't know what it's going to cost, we don't know if we can lend you the money. We don't know that you're able to finish the job with the money that we have. So it's important that the borrowers really understand what the contracts are, what they mean to them, and that they have some of the basic language, basic information. The bank wants the same thing. Does it have duration? Does it have the right address? Details, Make sure the attachments or the exhibits to the contract include the permit set of plans, the finalized budgets, and that permit set of plans needs to be the latest, set of plans, the final set of plans. Sorry, my earring came out. My hair got both of them, it seems. It does that. Anyway, I have a lot of it. It just grabs it and goes. But the borrower really needs to understand what's excluded and what they're responsible for. And that goes back to that sources and uses. It's not the bank's responsibility to know what you need to build this restaurant or what you're going to want. It's you as the borrower. It's your responsibility. Do that research. How much are tables? How much are chairs? How many am I going to need? And where am I going to get it? Provide that support information to the bank so they know that you know what you're doing and you know where you have potential cost savings, where you can value engineer from your side.
One of my favorite things though is the borrowers that are out there and they're getting estimates. Paul, I wonder if you ran into this too. The borrower's getting estimates, right? And let's say they go out and they get 3 estimates. 2 of those estimates say it's going to cost $1 million to do what they're looking to do. Both of them like $1 million, and let's say the other's $1.1 million, right? And then this other one comes in and it says $400,000, right?
You're guaranteed that every time.
Every time. And then these borrowers are like, oh, I want that one. I'm like, dude, there is a reason that one's coming in that they don't know. And they're just throwing it to the wall, trying to get you in. Guaranteed. If 2 others are saying a different number, I'm more inclined to believe they're on target.
What's wrong with Bob and a Truck LLC?
Right? Because 400 is going to turn into 1.5, right?
Right. Not bonded, not insured.
And I have found over the years in those situations where the borrower is really, and of course, 9 times out of 10, the guy that's going to do it for 400,000 is his neighbor's uncle's cousin's friend that they've known forever. Which
that sounds like my family.
You always run. Never a good idea. Never a good idea. Because always in almost 30 years of doing this, I can think of maybe two in probably thousands of projects I've worked on. The 2 were on speaking terms at the end. Forget still being friends. They're still talking.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to do that. But in those situations where you have somebody that's way under and the borrower is just hell bent on this is who they want to use. Okay. Let's have the general contractor. Let's start supporting your numbers. Send me your proposals. I want to make sure that your contract again is plans and permits, and to really, even if it, again, the general contractor's, plumber is his brother, whatever. Okay, fine. And that happens and that's okay. Then you want to make sure as the bank that you have assignment to that contract, and the contract has trickled down that the subcontracts are also assigned, right? But you can always do underwriting of that general contractor, and worst case scenario, get a bond. When you start asking for those things, it's amazing how suddenly their schedule now is full and they might not be able to finish the project, or they don't have enough information.
And the reason too for the assignment is because then the bank can take it over and they then have the say or whatever it is with the subs. Right.
Well, and that's why the contract is equally as important to the bank.
True. So I mean, obviously there is, so many projects you've done, and our audience loves to watch a great train wreck. I mean, it's the best, right? So, can you share with us one maybe that you've worked on recently where it's like, this is why you hire me, people, right? Like, give us that
Gosh,
that
there's
firework.
so many.
Preferably one of Tonya's deals that went south. That would be really fun.
Didn't go south, but we salvaged it. We salvaged it.
Southeast.
There was a couple that were like 2-year
Yeah.
construction projects. We barely got in under the 2-year mark with the SBA piece of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that one of the ones you're talking? Go for it.
Yep. Now were you thinking what's the brewery one? Are you thinking?
Okay. That one. Yeah, that one took a long time.
3. Pick your favorite. Pick your favorite.
This is why people ask me why I like construction so much, right? Because construction is challenging, and in the how things have been as of late over the course of the last few years, even more challenging. Like nothing came in on time. Change orders out the yin yang, 30% higher than they thought it was going to be. Everything checked in advance, but because of oftentimes things out of control, some things in control,
Well,
they went wacky.
They do. I have 2 that I'm working on currently. One is a like one of those teppanyaki places. It's been challenging. Partly because this particular restaurant, they have one contractor that is doing the build out or the specialized stuff for the kitchen and whatnot. And then you have another one that's doing the nuts and bolts of it, right?
Okay.
Problem is
They don't
the
talk.
2 have to be working together, the 2 contractors, along with the owner, who is working with the separate person that's doing equipment, those kinds of things. So if these people aren't talking, things get delayed. Or the borrower ended up purchasing equipment that didn't fit. So they didn't have the equipment, their contractor. Now, I like to say,
I'm trying not to laugh.
I was not working with the second guy, the build out guy. That was not me. My guy was the sticks and bricks main guy. So early on, I'm like, okay, if you have this other contractor that's doing basically the kitchen build out and the specialization stuff, we need to make sure that things are ordered on time. You as the borrower are responsible to make sure that equipment arrives on time, number 1, but probably more important, that it's right. Details. So not only did they order it late, it arrives late. So now he's accumulating general condition change orders because they've delayed it. Then the equipment that did come up, our progress site inspector, God love him, he sends back a bunch of notes. He's like, hey, there's a bunch of equipment just sitting outside. Don't think it looks right. Shouldn't be outside, like refrigerators, the whole thing. So that's how we come to find out that they ordered the wrong stuff, all this kind of stuff. So we had to spend time with our GC that we were working with to make sure, okay, let's get with the finished contractor to figure out what do they need, make sure that they're not doing things in the wrong order, because they ended up going through and painting all the sprinkler heads and the lines, which is a no-no, So we had to kind of baby step through and figure out, okay, what comes next? The borrower's got to come in with some serious injection at this point. And everybody, they don't like it. But from the bank's perspective, until I know what's going on, that we're going to be able to finish, not another dime is going out. And of course, having done this for a long time and have long-standing relationships, I tell them, this is what's happening. And then I call the bank. I'm like, hey, this is the situation. This is what I told them. Okay, this is what we're doing. He's like, yeah, no, absolutely. That's what we got to do. So you have to spend the time to figure out what's going on. And that's where, what Tonya said earlier, our main thing is we all like to talk. We're all on the same team. We all have the same goal of getting this project finished, hopefully on budget and on time, right? But we can't help you do that if we don't know all of the bits and pieces, right? I don't know. So once everybody has the same information, we can work together to get where we need to go, right? And this one, finally, he's getting C of O this week. It only took an extra 8 months, but we're getting there under the 2 years.
That's crazy.
With
That
equipment.
crazy, but I'm sure I always thought that I always say, oh God, are you kidding me? In a day, like at least 20 times.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet you say it more than me.
Oh, wait. So put the camera on Miss Christa there. And I want Miss Christa to turn around to her little cabinet back there. And I want you to first open the right side. Go ahead. Whichever side, doesn't even matter. You open one side. So she's going to go to, oh yeah, this is her Krav Maga. So this is when she I hope I said that right. This is when she probably gets done and she's ready to like take somebody out. And not to mention when she's on a site, guys, don't mess
You
with
got to
her.
get them out
Yeah,
and you got to get it out
might-
sometimes.
She might whoop on you. And now,
Nice.
if you flip to the other side, what she's got over there is, the liquor cabinet.
That's
So
a
it's kind of
great
like
combo. That's beautiful. I mean,
I don't have to
she'll
go
Krav
far.
Maga and then have liquor to
Well,
to
I like to say it
dim
helps
the
my neck,
pain,
you know.
or vice versa.
My husband and I laugh. We've been married over 20 years, and that's the best kind of therapy ever.
Yeah.
You didn't like that?
To give you a little
you didn't like my
kudos.
chicken that I lit on fire in the barbecue? You hold the pad. Here we go.
here we go.
And her husband and her daughter just finished, I think it was level 5. So it's one below black belt. That takes.
Yes, we're into level
Wow.
5. One more, and then we get to test for
Don't
black
mess with you.
I would not want to piss off Christa now.
Well, it was either increased blood pressure medication or just start kicking the cat.
Well, there you go. It sounds like you got
did
your
it the right way.
solution.
Yes,
You
it
did
was
Well,
it
good.
the right way.
I like it.
That was good. That was really good to hear some of those, and I really appreciate you being on there. And also, I want to thank Mark Lawrence last week for sharing and giving us this topic, which had us go down this rabbit hole. And I think as a reward, we named a loan program after you because it's actually spelled MARC as well, so it's even properly spelled. So there's our gift to you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark Lawrence, for bringing that up last week too. And and he's also in the industry, so shout out to him as well. So
Perfect.
Anyway, guys, Christa, thank you for joining us. Paul,
Thanks
we always love you and I being on together. But anyway, the rest of you guys, we're here on Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, live on LinkedIn and or YouTube or any of the streaming platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, you can see us anytime. Go back to any of our past episodes. Go check out our family of podcasts, the Art of SBA Lending and the BDO Show. Other than that, reach out to Paul or I because we really like chatting with you and would love to hear what the next subject might be. Hey, pull a Mark Lawrence and give us another subject.
Other than that, here to help if you need anything.
I know, right? Go out with your big bad self, or go do some Krav Maga, or I'm not going to say open the liquor cabinet, but hey, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.
Take care. Bye. Thanks.
See ya.